3, 2, 1, 0.
Welcome to Medtech Mzansi, the podcast powering South African medical device innovation, brought to you by MDMSA.
Hello and welcome back to Medtech Mzansi. In episode 4, we're diving into a medical game changer right here in South Africa. Get ready for an incredible conversation with Tracy Moonsamy as she sits down with the visionary behind Viva Medical, Mr. Lindsay Curran, the creator of South Africa's very first needle-free port. It's an episode filled with local innovation that's making a global impact. You don't want to miss this.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tracy Moonsamy, and it is my absolute pleasure today to engage with Lindsay Curran of Viva Medical. Lindsay has been a familiar face, an old friend, and it's an absolute pleasure for me to explore medtech in the eyes and the ears of Lindsay. We'll start a little bit with telling about Lindsay. So Lindsay is really very well known to medical devices, and I'm sure to everyone that's played in the medical device field. Starting off at Marcus Medical way back when. We're not going to talk about years and because Lindsay might not be happy with me after that. And after spending a number of years in industry, Lindsay has decided to pursue his passion and launched Viva Medical and has pursued relentlessly innovation and local manufacturing in South Africa. Lindsay has been a member of various boards and associations in South Africa, including SAMED and MDMSA, and is also chairman of the Western Cape Medical Devices Cluster, and just because we're fun people too, also the chairman of the Mustang Owners Club of South Africa. So I'm very impressed, Lindsay. I'm a muscle car girl myself. So lovely. Thank you for taking the time. And so Lindsay, let's get started. Maybe tell us a little bit more about the man behind the name.
Thanks, Tracy, and welcome to Viva Medical, and also welcome to our colleagues and friends watching this event. It's a real pleasure to be on your program. I really appreciate the opportunity. Viva Medical is a family-owned, 100% South African manufacturing company based down in Somerset West in Cape Town. And really, this start of this event was a culmination of 33 years of work for a multinational when I realized that there was an opportunity to stop importing medical devices and focus on local manufacture within South Africa. And fortunately, I have met with many good colleagues in the industry. And it all started by joining an industry association. Firstly, SAMED, as you said, then MDMSA, and recently the Western Cape Medical Devices Cluster. So it has been a journey, but they do say you can teach old dogs new tricks.
You said it, not me. So Lindsay, you say you were inspired after working for many years, and obviously your involvement with the associations. Is there anything specifically, an event or recently we've had COVID that has really challenged us in terms of our supply chain and our reliance on imports? Reflecting on your time in the start of Viva Medical, is there anything that really triggered you in terms of, why you wanted to start it?
I think the association with the Department of Trade and Industry, they certainly gave me the idea and planted the seed and encouraged me to innovate products that can be substituted. Obviously, there were certain grants and incentives to get into manufacturing. And I think that was really the start when we realized that it was an opportunity that needed to be exploited.
Excellent. I like, that you bring in the Department of Trade and Industry. And I think often, I'm not an advocate for anything, but I think often we hear the stories about the things that don't work. And it's really just good to hear a story of a synergistic approach from a trade industry, a trade body, and then an organization and someone who has a vision. And I think that there is probably the recipe for success. But with every success, they all obviously come some rocky roads and challenges. So at the start, despite your immense knowledge of the industry and really a passion and a desire to fix the problem, what were some of the early challenges you experienced?
Thanks, Tracy. There were numerous challenges, but I think the biggest challenge is to assess the risk when going into such a venture. And funding, I think, becomes the major stumbling block. So I employed the 3 Fs, the family, the friends, and fools to finance our business and to get it off the ground. But we had some very lucky breaks, and one of those was working with the DTI and Westgrow in particular through the Western Cape Medical Devices cluster, and they assisted us financially to fund our ISO 13485, which is something that is a barrier to entry. If one doesn't have the 13485, one can't bid on government tenders. And that was our real moment. The inflection point in our company was when we got that 13485, we were able to bid on contracts.
Excellent. I like that. Obviously your challenges are a risk-based approach is really a great approach. And I think that you were pretty progressive in your approach, since it's now a risk-based approach is now filtering into systems and the way things are done. I love your funding model. I'm probably going to steal it. And, I think with everything, there's also always this element of luck. And whilst we're chatting about that, I just want to just maybe touch on 13485. So, you mentioned 13485 and the fact that it really opens doors. On the flip side, did you find any challenges with the actual implementation of 13485 within your organization?
Certainly, Tracy. I think the biggest challenge is finding a suitable partner to work with, to set up your quality management system, to prepare all your documentation, and to find auditors, accredited auditors in South Africa. Fortunately, we were lucky to source SACAS, and they are based in Centurion in Pretoria, and they have been absolutely essential to ensuring that we remain on track. And we've received clean audits over the last 4 years, which has been an absolute asset to our business.
It's wonderful to hear of a company that makes culture or makes quality the culture in the organization. I think that's commendable, and you'll continue to reap the rewards of embedding systems such as 13485 into your system. And, with systems are really empty shells if they don't have the people and the team to drive it. So I'm sure you have a great team that's maybe also made up of friends, families, and fools. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your team and maybe how you embed your culture, your energy into your team?
That's a great question. And interestingly enough, the business actually started on the 23rd of November, 2015. And our lead in our clean room is still with us. And I think that's commendable that somebody that started with us on day one is still with us. Our staff complement consists of 15 individuals, which include our quality and regulatory, our clean room team, our office administrator. My wife is the clinical director of the company, as she comes out of a nursing background. really, it's a very close-knit group, and we have policies which are very open and transparent, and we try to endeavor to always use sustainable products that are good to the environment, and really overall it's a testament to the knowledge that we've gained over the years by associating with individuals in the industry association.
Much celebration in November. You speak of family, and maybe the next time we interview your wife and see if she's as happy as you are. But can you what are the values that you instill in your organization, your personal values that you bring into the organization?
So firstly, in any medical device manufacturing, I think, as you mentioned before, quality comes first. And without quality, there will be no business. And I'm proud to say that the Western Cape Department of Health visited us some 3 years ago, and they came to inspect our premises, to inspect our systems, to ensure that we were 13485 compliant and SAPRA registered. And after going through our plant and meeting our people, the tender was then advertised, and we were very fortunate to get 9 products for all 53 hospitals in the Western Cape. And that's been our saving grace. And the contract has run for 1 year so far. We've supplied in excess of 1 million infusion administration sets without a single product complaint. And I think that's testament to the quality culture in the organization.
Excellent. That's something really big to be proud of. A million parts, no complaints, where you're really elevating the status and the levels that local manufacturers can reach. Lindsay, you've spoken about early your trade, the association and support from the trade and investment. You've also mentioned the Western Cape Medical Devices Cluster. Are there any specific partnerships or collaborations that has, both local or globally, that has really been significant to your business and something that has allowed you to leapfrog into the spaces that you need to be in?
So, yes, there are. And once again, we've tried as far as possible to use local manufacturers as partners. So we've collaborated with a company in Stellenbosch that does ETO sterilizing. So all of our sterilizing is done off-site. We've collaborated with another medical device company in Cape Town, and they manufacture all of our tubing. So as you can imagine, IV administration sets, as you see behind me, consist mainly of PVC tubing. And we manufacture a whole range of those products. And every time we complete a product, it has to go for sterilizing before going to the customer. And as you can imagine, there's lots of quality and regulatory in that process to ensure that the product meets the required specification.
Excellent. I think you've touched on such an important point around building and growing an ecosystem. So not only have you built and built compliance in Viva Medical, it seems like you've really interrogated your value chain and created an ecosystem that both supports local manufacturing and makes your business more sustainable. Has that been an intentional approach?
It has. We've always looked for ways and means to improve on the current technology that's out in the market. And this led us to a grant offered by the Department of Science and Technology called the MEDIC grant. And that really focuses on innovation and products that can substitute existing imported products. And in our line of business, the main component in the IV sets that you see behind me are the needle-free valves. And needle-free valves come in many shapes and sizes, but the most common version looks like this device that I'm holding in my hand at the moment. So currently in South Africa, there are 7.7 million IV sets used per annum, and that number is taken from a study conducted in 2015. And that needle-free valve is used in approximately 50% of all IV sets. So we can comfortably say that there are about 4 million of these used per annum in South Africa, and every one of them is imported. And you can imagine the cost involved in 4 million valves, retailing for about 10 Rand each. So, it's an instant market of 40 million Rand, conservatively speaking. Through the Medic grant, we were able to put together a project team working closely with the University of Stellenbosch and an anesthetist, the professor of engineering, a microbiologist, 2 mechanical engineers, and myself as the project lead. And we have successfully, it's taken us 2 years, but we have successfully developed South Africa and Africa's very first and own needle-free valve. It looks like that, and this will replace all imports of needle-free valves into South Africa. And we have a registered design patent on the product, and it can be configured in such a way, thanks to the mechanical engineers, it can be configured in such a way to replace 4 imported devices. And I think that's a real testament to the quality of our engineering in South Africa.
Hey MedTech fans, this is how we're making patient care safer and smarter. Get ready for a quick look at our life-changing innovation, the Viva Line Needle-Free Port, the South African solution redefining IV therapy. Let's take a look.
Wow, that's excellent. I mean, that's, you found the sweet spot between innovation and making more products locally. Because I think that often there's a desire to localize, but one doesn't quite understand what product we need to localize. And in localizing, how do we then elevate and find that unmet need? And you were very clear and intentional on what the problem to be solved. And I think you went ahead and found the solution. I think that's such a well done to you and the team. It's a huge success for you, and I think a huge success for South Africa to have meaningfully localized a product. Whilst we speaking about this, are there any other products that Viva Medical manufactures that you want to talk us through, or very specific patient need that you meet as an outcome of your business?
Certainly. So once again, working with clinicians in hospitals, they identified that one of the key challenges in IV therapy is when the tubing kinks and the medication or fluid doesn't get to the patient because there's an obstruction in the IV line. And again, through another Medic grant, one of our engineers was afforded a R500,000 Rand, and he developed something called the anti-kink device. And this product hasn't got to market yet, but is currently in the molding position and will probably get to market in 2026. And this will be a revolutionary product which can be put on a patient as a securement device to hold the IV line in place, but also will prevent any tubing from kinking and eradicate the problem of kinked tubing.
And in terms of your product range, you want to just talk us through maybe what that range encompasses and maybe a little bit about who those end users are?
Sure. So our product range really covers the entire sphere of IV therapy. We focus specifically on intensive care units, both adult and neonatal. We focus on a range of products for anesthesia and in the theatre environment. And we have a heavy focus also on oncology. And there are roughly 53 products in our range at the moment. And we supply products nationally in South Africa. We've also supplied products to Australia and New Zealand, but that was mainly in the veterinary market.
Okay. All right, sounds excellent. And maybe you are a huge advocate, I think, for local manufacturing. Just given your journey and how, again, how you have used the tools around you, from agencies to medical device manufacturing groups, and obviously the funding that was available. So and you have mentioned your ecosystem around your tubes and your ethylene oxide supplier. So maybe could you tell us maybe a little bit about how being a local manufacturer has impacted your product, both from a quality, a cost, and maybe even a speed of delivery?
Thanks. Again, we take the position of ensuring that whatever product we use obviously meets the SAST requirement. So all the suppliers that we use are vetted. That we verify that they meet the required standards, and we only procure from those companies that are accredited. So that's the baseline. From there, what we try and do is use sustainable plastics in all of the products that we manufacture. So, for example, when a product is used in a hospital and it's a disposable device like ours, they usually get incinerated. And in the incineration process, there is obviously vapor that goes into the atmosphere. So the tubing that we use is DEHP free, and when those vapors go into the atmosphere, they are non-carcinogenic. And I think that is critical, that South Africa should be adopting a standard that no standard PVC that has DEHP in it should be used in IV sets. And we're trying to drive that through the industry associations to protect the environment and particularly the atmosphere. One of the great examples of recycling in South Africa is a project conducted currently by Netcare. And we're working with them, and they collect all the old IV bags, particularly in Gauteng. They reprocess those IV bags. They take the plastics and they're actually molding school shoes for the rural areas. And these plastic school shoes are absolutely brilliant for underserviced areas. So we really do make an effort to try and use sustainable products. We try to use local manufacturers wherever we can. However, there are still some products, components in particular, that have to be imported, but we're working on those. We have a plan of action to replace even some of those more simple products by locally manufacturing them and not relying on imports.
Thank you for raising the netting aspect. I think it's really critical that manufacturers in general find these spaces where knowledge is shared and we continuously build that ecosystem and repository. And if you look at other countries that have been successful at industrializing, they have relied on creating these intelligence hubs that I think work really well. Thank you for being so instrumental in so many of them. And, I think that to anyone watching, thinking, I'm a manufacturer and I struggle with this, I think Lindsay has given us so much food for thought around how we'd solve our everyday problems. Lindsay, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you and just understanding about your organization, your journey, and you bring such a quiet confidence into the space that you make all of us want to go out there and find something to manufacture. Tell me, what is next for Viva Medical?
So, interestingly enough, we're working with a company at the moment called Oric Business Accelerator, and they are assisting us to prepare our business for accelerated growth. And as part of that, we are in the process of working with one of the major private hospital groups, one of the big three, and we should know by the end of September whether we are successful. And they have visited our offices, and they wish to move away from imported infusion administration sets to purchasing local. And I think once again, that's a great sign for the industry and localization of our industry, that the big three hospital groups are looking now to invest in local manufactured products. And I think the track record speaks for itself that local manufactured products meet international standards, and the risk is low when buying locally manufactured products. This has been proven over time, and I think there's just blue skies for local manufacturers to get involved. And, through an industry association, I come back to, there are always willing participants to assist new entrants into the market. Through both the universities and the technikons, there is ample skills to get into manufacturing. It's taking that first leap of faith.
Such an advocate for local manufacturing and something very close to my heart. I really believe that we're only going to be able to solve the problems of the world if we make more products locally. We cannot create new jobs and accelerate innovation and use the new technology that we're so good at producing as South Africans if we don't have spaces to make things in a very simple way. I think that we have graduates leaving our universities every year, and I don't think many of them wake up anytime and say, I want to go make things. So I think that, thank you for being the voice of manufacturing and for advocating for that. And I think that you've proven that business excellence and growth can be coupled with making a good product and in a synergistic environment. And we wish you all the success in September. I hope you get the answers that you want, and I'm sure that you will. And as a parting note, what advice would you give to anyone? Perhaps let's do this in two parts. So firstly, to anyone starting up, someone thinking about, I'm not sure if I'm an entrepreneur. I don't know whether I should be manufacturing. I have, so maybe just some advice for people in that space.
Well, it's really not difficult. It will cost you nothing as an entrepreneur or a startup or a student, at university, to do some research on medical device manufacturers in South Africa. There is a wonderful landscaping report done by the Medical Research Council. And that really is a biography, if you like, of the what, the where, the how, and the when of medical device manufacturing in South Africa. So, equip yourself with that sort of research and, speak to those in the medical device industry associations. One only has to look on the internet at MDMSA.org.za or Western Cape Medical Devices Cluster. These institutions and associations are always willing to have new entrants join their market. So thanks very much. I really appreciate the opportunity. My website is above my shoulder. You should be able to see that. More about our company and our products and our people are on that website. So thanks very much, Tracy. I really appreciate the time.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. I think you have given us much hope, much to think about. And I think that we've also given us a fair amount of resources that we can reach out to and just equip ourselves better to become better manufacturers, more responsible manufacturers. I really commend you for your approach on being a sustainable manufacturer. Sustainability is sometimes forgotten, in the medical device and in medicine, because of the, incineration, and we believe in, there's single-use devices, and it's probably not front of mind. I think you're proactive, and I think that you're really setting yourself and your business up for the future by being this aware of the environmental impact and the social impact of your business. I wish you all of the best in all of your upcoming activities and your new products and your entrance into new markets. And we hope to engage with you soon when you're ready to launch your next product. You're ready to tell us about your next innovation. We will be back here with you.
Thanks, Tracy. Really appreciate it. All the best. Keep well, and thanks
Lindsay.
to everybody for listening. Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.
And that's a wrap on a truly insightful episode 4 of Medtech Mzansi. A huge thank you to Tracy Moonsamy and Lindsay Curran for an incredible conversation. We can't wait to see you all for episode 5. Until then, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel to stay at the forefront of medical innovation. And to our global viewers, we're looking forward to being your hosts. Come to South Africa and experience the magic for yourselves.